Welcome to the Human Ideasphere series, Chapter 10, Life, Part 2. The material in Earth's early oceans reminds us of a box of chocolates. They had strong outside shells, but the inside could be filled with all kinds of combinations of molecules. You just never knew what you'd get inside. Most of these combinations disintegrated pretty quickly, but some were able to last. What I mean by this is that the DNA was able to get RNA to make energy and proteins needed to allow the structure to remain intact for a longer period of time. Over time, some DNA molecules were able to add more and more DNA molecules in a long string. So, instead of performing just one function, the large DNA strand could reel off several functions in a row. As long as the DNA functions worked to produce proteins or energy that enabled the unit to last longer, that unit would stick around. But if the DNA functions did not help the unit, it would fail and the structure would disintegrate. Those parts would then be recycled back into the vast oceans. Cells are really small, so the combination process occurred quickly. You can imagine that over millions of years, billions of combinations occurred. Even though only a few may have ever resulted in stable units, you can see that by sheer numbers, numerous tiny units existed to become the building blocks for even larger units over time. When some of these units added the ability to copy themselves, it was a huge leap in extending the resilience of a successful combination. Instead of each unit starting over with a new, untried set of molecules, a copied unit inherited the successful construction from its previous unit. It could then spend its short existence building from an already successful arrangement. Over time, these units developed a model that proved extraordinarily successful. There were many versions of this model, but they all shared these same characteristics. 1, they were protected from the environment by a lipid cell wall. 2, they could interact with their environment using flagella to move and pili to open the cell wall, where they could obtain resources. 3, they could produce energy and proteins using DNA with RNA's help. And 4, they could copy their structure into a new unit, again using DNA with RNA's help. This model was able to procure resources so well and produce so many copies that it came to dominate all the other less capable combinations. The units sharing this model have a name. We call them cells. And what do those cells do? That is what we call living. Cells were the first form of life on Earth. And today, 3.8 billion years later, cells are still the foundation of every living entity on Earth.